love Maven Huffman. Like, this guy is such a legend. He was in WWE, he's an ex-WWE wrestler, and he has a YouTube channel, and he shares a lot of input and backstage stories and secrets and stuff that you would never hear from actual wrestlers that are wrestling in the company under contract right now. Because of the fact that he is not in the company anymore, he can share some of these things with us, and he's so humble, and the way he speaks, his content is really awesome. I love watching his videos and reacting to them. This is, I think, my third video that I'm reacting from Maven Huffman, and this video is called Former WWE Wrestler Reveals WWE Secret. This video is actually recommended by Melcard Caranto. I don't think I pronounced the name right. And he said, I think you could react to the Former WWE Wrestler Reveals WWE Secrets by Maven Huffman. Hell yeah, I can. Let's go. And I apologize in advance about the cars because I opened the window. It's really hot, and also I have allergies. I can barely breathe. I'm speaking through my nose right now, as you can hear. So let's go and watch this video.
Hey guys, Maven here. Now, we all know that WWE, it's predetermined. It's scripted entertainment, and there's a lot of tricks to the trade that they use in order to suspend your disbelief. In this video, I'm going to be sharing secrets from my WWE career, including how do wrestlers bleed?
Rumble video he made.
How did I hang myself on the ring ropes and walk away unscathed? And of course, how did I go through glass without messing up this beautiful makeup-free face? You're gonna learn a lot, so let's get into it. First, I'm gonna show you how WWE wrestlers bleed. And huge disclaimer here. This is not a how-to video. This is not
guys, don't learn how to do it
yourself.
Don't try this
at home. I was trained by professionals, and I have had practice doing this. You have not. So do not, I repeat, do not try this at home. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. As a WWE wrestler, one of the things you have to come to grips with is bleeding. But we don't call it bleeding.
Okay, let me say, one thing I think about the bleeding thing, I heard that they have like these small, I don't know what are they called, and like they have it under their sleeve or something, and then they literally cut themselves a bit so they can bleed from time to time if it's scripted for them to bleed, unless they accidentally do. Or guys, I live next to a school and it's teenagers, okay? So I don't know what that was, but don't worry, nobody's getting hurt. They're just teens having fun. But yeah, what I wanted to say is I hope they don't hear me and they're like, hey, are you recording for YouTube? Okay, back to what I wanted to say. Unless you are like a really good wrestler and you know how to cut someone, for example, Brock Lesnar knew how to cut someone with their I think with their elbow or with their knuckle or something. Like they knew how to cut a person directly on the forehead.
Getting color. But when you're in a match, how exactly do you get color? We call that a gig. And now I'm going to show you how I made gigs and where I would conceal them on my body so everyone in the stands and you at home never saw them until I needed them. Now, in order to make a gig, a WWE wrestler is going to need 3 things. And those things are tape, a razor.
A razor, yeah, that's what I wanted to
say. I was taught to use the 2-sided straight razors. And lastly, scissors. First, you're going to start with your straight razor, and this is actually a real razor, so I'm being extremely careful. What I was taught to do and what I would always do from there, you take your scissors and you cut it down to size, and I would always cut it down into a triangle.
That's why nobody
Once you get it down to the triangle, your goal is going to be to have a limited sharp edge exposed, and from there you simply just start folding it over until it is in
it's so
a
small.
shape
That's why you don't
that you're going to be able to use.
Look at that.
Some guys would actually cut this edge off, making it smaller. I always preferred having the longer edge, and I'll tell you why. The way you're going to disguise your gig is guys would do it in many different ways. Some guys put it in their boot. Some guys would tape it to different parts of their body. I always taped it to my wrist.
Yeah.
I was going to tape my wrist anyway, so it was just always a very easy and obvious place to keep it. Now, with my wrist taped, here's the key. I'm gonna need a few extra pieces of tape after. And I'll tell you why. Once your wrist is taped, you're gonna wanna be able to get to the gig easily when you're out in a match. Some guys put it in different places. I always would put it right here. Now, that's why I liked having this edge, that extra edge. This is exactly how I would tape it to my wrist right there. I would lay it down with the long edge exposed so I knew exactly where to grab it. And then I would just put extra tape over top of it.
Okay, but how are you gonna get it out? Oh my God, that's a lot of tape. How are you removing that?
Some guys don't like having this extra edge exposed. It's hit or miss. It depends on what you prefer. I always wanted to know exactly where that gig was, because if I needed it during a match, when the ref or when their attention wasn't on me and I was overselling or whatever and I was about to get color, it was always easy for me because I knew exactly where it was. I could take one, maybe two pieces of tape, slide them back, and there's my gig exposed right there. Now, other guys,
still,
they didn't
man, like you have to lie down there, hide it, and like, one tape, other tape, get this thing out. How do they hide that? I mean, I understand me watching on TV, like the camera movement, and they hide that. They don't show you on the camera when they do it. But live, for people who are the live audience, do you think they could like notice that, especially if they're like really close to the ring, like that top VIP ones? I feel like they do.
Other guys might use a gig that's this size right here, still with the exposed straight edge, but they didn't want to have it sticking out of their wrist tape. So what they would do was put it directly in the middle of their wrist, and usually with the exposed edge not facing their wrist. And then they would still take the one piece of tape, maybe two, something that they could get to easy during the match, and they would cover it. I always preferred my gig with the tail just because it was easier, and I know Murphy's Law, if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. And I don't want to be the one that when I open it up, because in essence, you're opening up a piece of tape and here's what's going to happen almost every time. That gig is going to stick to that tape just like that. So then you're ringside or wherever fumbling, trying to get this little piece off. I've even seen people take this and they can't pull it off, so they just start jamming themselves with the tape piece attached to it, hoping that it works, hoping that they can get the color they need like that. I never wanted to fool with it like that. That's why I always used it with a tail. And I give credit to Easy Money during my time in HWA for teaching me that little trick.
Nice.
So once the cameras are off you, and once you find a secluded place, usually it's down ringside as close to the apron as you can get, and I'll tell you why in a second. You're gonna take and you're gonna open up, exposing that gig. You're going to take it off, and then it's a three-step process to get your color. Obviously, you're going to have your sharp edge, and you're going to hit, twist, and squeeze. Hit, twist, and squeeze. And what that's going to do, it's going to open up your capillaries, and you're going to start bleeding, and it's just going to provide for a good look. Once you got your color, once you're bleeding, you still have these. What do you do with them? Where do you put them? If you're down ringside by the apron, obviously the best thing, the easiest thing, the safest thing to do is to toss them under the apron. But rule of thumb, never ever toss them where a fan could get them, because obviously you don't want them cutting themselves. You don't want them to have anything that could hurt them in any way. If you're having to do it in the ring, you might call the ref over, and just as he comes over, try to safely pass it off to him, and he'll know exactly what you're doing, because you will have went over that earlier in the day. But your main goal is to just never let them get close to the fans. Obviously, we want to keep the secret out there as to how you got the color, but more importantly, you just don't want them hurt in any way. And now you know how WWE wrestlers get color. But again, disclaimer, do not do this at home. This is for educational.
Why would I do something like that?
Purposes. I was trained how to do this. You were not. Please be safe.
I would not do
Now,
something
let's talk
like
about
that.
the most famous WWE weapon, the steel chair. And I get asked all the time, on a weekly basis, how do you fake chair shots? And the simple answer is, you don't. That's why they're outlawed today. That's why you hardly ever see chair shots. We know a lot more today about concussions than we did even 20 years ago.
Especially if there is a chair shot, it's not in the head.
When I'm asked about chair shots, people in essence always think that they are fake, they are gimmicked, they are rigged in some way. And to be honest, they are not. They are real chairs. Here's where the secret about that lies, though. The chairs that are used, the chair that hit me over the head at the 2002 Royal Rumble, it's not the hardest chair available. It's a chair of a lesser aluminum, a lesser dense metal. So that's how you get the folding aspect of it. That's how when it hit me over the head, it formed around my head. But there's absolutely nothing fake about it. But on to a different chair shot I took, and actually one that there is a secret to. Also working with The Undertaker early in my career, after the Rumble, I found myself involved in a championship match with Chris Jericho. So go through the entire match, and at the end, Undertaker came out to ruin my night. I found myself on the outside of the ring with The Undertaker, a place I did not want to be, and he took a chair, put it up against my throat, reared me back, and jammed me down on it. To everyone, it looked absolutely devastating. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, going over with it during the day, it felt like it was going to be devastating until I learned the secret. The secret to that chair shot is
to hold with your hands.
Holding the chair
with both. Exactly. I just noticed that. I noticed when Undertaker was like literally grabbing him down, and the last second he held with both of his hands, so he knows exactly how to not put his head on the chair, so physically like he's not getting hurt a lot, because without holding with his hand, he would never have the idea how far his head could go before hurting himself. You know what I mean?
Hands
I don't know how to explain.
On either side, because as I'm holding the chair and he's rearing me back, Taker looks like he's keeping the chair pinned directly to my throat, when the whole time I'm the one controlling the chair. As he brings me down onto the ground, I'm controlling how close my neck actually gets to the top edge of that chair.
He sold it so well too.
My throat never even hit the lip of that chair. And what really sold it, what really told the entire crowd and the people at home that I was hurt, was the throw.
Reaction.
And again, I was able to control that because I had both hands on that chair the entire time. And realistically, it was one of the easiest bumps of my life. The next secret I'm going to share with you is getting hung up in the ring ropes. Now, this came courtesy of Triple. What I love about this spot is for years, people have debated, now, did that actually happen? Was it an accident? Or was it part of the show? Well, I'm here to tell you, it was part of the show. And here's
before he tells the secret, I think I would know what the secret is. The ropes were on the side, and if you really want to get, let me rephrase that, because nobody wants to get hanged. If you, if he would hurt his throat, it had to, like, the rope had to go literally directly here where his throat is. But as you could see, like, it was on the side, so he could still have the ability to breathe from front. But let's see what he's gonna say. That's just me speculating.
Secret. And actually, this is probably one of the spots that we had to practice the most during my time in the WWE. In order to make that spot happen, the top two ropes, the middle rope and the top rope, actually have to be loose. They have to be loosened more than they normally are. And in order for that to happen, everyone on the card has to know, be careful when hitting the ropes that night. The secret when going through the ropes is to actually dive your head as evenly through the two ropes as you can, but as you're doing it, make sure you grab the ropes with both hands.
Yeah, he literally
and
twisted
as
it.
gravity does the work for you, it will make it look like you were stuck. It will make it look like something that wasn't supposed to happen. And it works because you rarely see it. It's not something you see on a nightly basis. Actually, no. I was releasing the pressure, holding myself, obviously, by my hands. But once Hunter plays up to it, to leave him there, let him spin their disbelief for a second. And people for years have debated, did that really happen, or was it part of the show? And for the next secret, I'm actually going to show you
really nice.
3 clips. And I want you to tell me what's the same thing happening in every
let's go.
one of them.
I
Bret
love this
Hart
type
is the
of games.
greatest WWF champion of all time. That's my opinion.
No, that's your opinion. That's the opinion of one man, JR.
He is. Could do that tonight. Look at Kurt Angle. Going for the ankle lock and Edge. Edge hoping to counter. Like Sammy did at Elimination Chamber in Montreal that we saw earlier tonight, you never really recover from it. It's a lot of baggage.
So, did you figure it out? Now let me fill you in on this secret.
What do you mean?
They're all attacking the left side of their opponent's body. Anybody that teaches wrestling in the United States is going to teach you to always work your opponent's left side.
Why?
And by left side, I mean left arm and left leg.
Why?
Now, why is that? If you always know that someone is working a left body part, then whenever they have to sell that body part or act like that body part is hurt, they don't, it's just one less thing to remember. Trust me, there's enough to worry about. How's the crowd reacting? Am I hitting time cues? Knowing that you're always going to be working the left side. If you're on attack, you're punching, kicking, hitting, wrenching the left side. And if you're on the defensive, you're writhing in pain. You're always selling the left side. Now you might be saying,
I'm gonna pay
Maven,
attention to
that's
that.
probably how it's done everywhere. Well, actually it's not. In Mexico, they work the right side. So I know for guys, whenever they travel, it's just one thing they have to learn. Is this a country that works the left or the right side?
Oh, interesting.
And for the last secret, it deals with one of the most famous moments of my WWE career. And it's something that I'm actually reminded about on a weekly basis. Let me set the scene for you. 2002 Royal Rumble, I eliminate The Undertaker. And after I eliminate The Undertaker, I had to get color, which we discussed earlier. But even further after that, we are fighting, we are brawling. Well, it's a one-sided brawl, but he is beating me through the arena up to the second level. And as I'm trying to escape, crawling, trying to get away from him, through the fans, Taker throws me.
Oh, yeah, I want to know how.
Everyone always brings up the popcorn machine, and they always say, Maven, how did you go through that glass? Well, today, we're not only going to tell you, I'm going to show you. So this is the type of glass I went through. It's commonly known as sugar or candy glass, and it's made by taking sugar, taking water, and you heat it up, you boil it down, and voila, sugar glass. I'm sure there's one or two additional steps in making this, but I didn't require that on the night I was going through this. They did a quick demonstration showing me that this was completely safe and wasn't going to hurt or cut you in any way. And if you watch a movie or a TV show, anytime a stunt is performed where someone is going through glass, this is the stuff that is going to be used. But what does it look like to go through it?
Yeah, can you go through it?
Well, let's find out.
Oh my God, he's gonna go through it?
The things I do for you, YouTube.
Can't he still injure himself? There are sharp edges.
And what's crazy is you can actually chew it.
No way.
Doesn't taste good though. Doesn't taste like sugar. Now,
Don't
obviously, you can see that this looks like real glass.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's going to think that this isn't the real thing, but it's completely safe. However, it does still have sharp edges.
Yeah.
So if you're messing with it, please be careful.
That's what I mean.
I taught you this secret, but what was the secret behind me getting my amazing WWE physique? To find out how, click this video.
Yeah, I might watch that one as well, because a lot of wrestlers say that they never use droids and stuff, and like, I don't know about that, brother. Like, it is hard to get that physique, you guys. So yeah, that is it for this video. Maven is amazing sharing all of this with us, and I have learned so much through this video. I want to watch more of his videos for sure, because I don't know a lot about WWE and I don't know a lot of professional wrestling, but I do want to learn more. As you know, I have been uploading daily videos about WWE for almost the last year on YouTube, and this channel just became like exclusive WWE content, and not only WWE, like pro wrestling content. So yeah, I am into it now deeply. But that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to check out Maven Huffman and his channel. It's amazing, educational, as well as entertaining. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. See you guys. Bye.